Hey Jessica, how are you?
Hey Elsa, how's it going?
Good.
I was thinking we could talk today about gossip and
Yeah.
avoiding it. And I think that a lot of people, I know I deal with that a lot. I think it's hard. I think you're hard pressed to not have a situation at some points when in your life, when you just roll into a conversation. You're dying to get in there.
Yeah.
You're dying to get in and talk about whatever they're talking about, but you're like, this is going to make me feel icky if I do it.
Yeah, that's the thing. I realized, I think when I wasn't as mindful about it, I could easily be sucked into gossip that was happening or start some gossip of my own. But then I started to realize, oh, it makes me feel really gross. I feel really bummed out afterwards. So,
And there's this like promise that you're going to feel better if you just release. Like, oh my God, it's so annoying when she does that
yeah.
because blah, 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 blah. There's this like little promise. It's like, if I just get this out,
Yeah.
I will be I won't be hindered anymore by this just negative thought. It's just like, no, it just comes, sucks you right back in, even worse.
It's an illusion.
Right. And then it's out there.
Yeah, I hate it. I actually hate gossip.
It's terrible. It's terrible. It's so hurtful because it's doubly bad. It's like, it's out there. So you're like, oh my gosh, like now I've said these things. Someone has heard them and judged them in whatever way they're going to judge them.
Yeah.
And the second way is then, so-and-so would hear about what you said just because you were maybe in a bad mood or you were hungry or like, I mean, half the things they come out of your mouth. It's just like, if you thought for a second that person heard you say that, they would be really hurt and you would be so ashamed.
Yeah.
And
I think a good rule is to, not say anything that you wouldn't say to the person, to their,
that's right.
I kind of think about that. Is there anything I'm going to say here that I wouldn't, if I would say it to the person to their face, then that's fine.
Exactly.
But,
and I do that. I will pretend like somehow they're watching me. And I'm like, would I say, you know what I mean? Like, would I, because what I think is in your own head, you're like, oh, this is obviously it's your stuff, right?
Yeah. If
you're like, this person really annoys me because blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, I really annoy myself because blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
The reality, it's your bad stuff. And if you talk it through being someone else's bad stuff, then it will exercise it from your...
yeah, maybe that's what it is.
It doesn't work like that.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't work. Ever.
No.
It just makes the other person feel horrible, makes you feel bad for talking about them.
When I'm in a situation where people are gossiping, and then
you feel awkward.
Well, I just don't say anything. Usually I do not say anything. You have to really be mindful of it too, because it's so tempting to just jump right in there and be like, oh my God, I know, I heard. But the other thing is I sometimes just try to change the course of the conversation too.
Right.
To something just totally different or benign or more.
I like your idea of just zipping it, because I think that is a really powerful response. Because, I mean, I know there have been times in my life where I've been like, I mean, so-and-so did this and it was really annoying and blah, 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 blah. And it's sort of like what we talked about last week. People were like, oh.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh. And then just it really makes you zip it because you're like, I'm getting nothing.
Yeah.
You're being an energy suck.
Yeah, that's right.
Negativity being like, nah, 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 nah.
Right, that's the other side of it when you're chatting and someone's quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I'm going to have to watch for that a little bit more when I say things and then people are just like, well, okay.
Like, listen, I know this chat show called What I Know Now. You should really tune in. It'll help you.
Yeah, I know. Because we know everything.
Maybe think later, because it is you. Like, it's a little cry for help, maybe. I don't know. But it is you saying, like, this is what annoys me about myself. And it's an interesting exercise to go back and just be like, I was talking about so-and-so and I love them. And what was that about? Like, okay, they do this, they do that. Why was I talking about this? And just like, you know, sitting with it for like, it won't take that long. And then you're like, oh, I do that. Or you know, it's because of this. And that makes me think of that, which is what I do myself.
You're passing judgment on yourself, or there's something inside of you that is unresolved or that you're not happy with. Everybody, we sort of, however your relationship or however you encounter somebody is a mirror.
Yeah. It's all
you. I think when people are unhappy,
yes,
that just adds a whole other layer, and maybe they're not as happy for other people, or they don't want other people to be successful. I don't know exactly what it is, but I know when you're happy inside and you're happy with who you are,
happy answer.
Happy for everybody else. You want everybody else to succeed and do well, and you don't want to hear bad things about them. But if you're feeling lack in your own life and you're feeling like you're in a frustrating place, and then I think it can be very normal to, you know, maybe look at someone else's situation and feel like envious, or, you know, besides all of that, gossip is an incredible waste of time.
Oh,
so think about all the amazing conversations you can have about like how you could be helping, what you could be creating. All right, Jessica, great seeing you, and I'll talk to you next week.
Okay.